The age-old question, as old as man. Where to start with the Yakuza series? 8 main entries into the series, it can be a little overwhelming at first. But today, King Narukami and David have got your back. We're going to go over our top 3 picks for our favorites to start off with the Yakuza series. So sit back and relax and let Kamurocho Bros do our thing. Here's our top 3 where to start with Yakuza picks.
Our third pick for where to start with the Yakuza series is one that may surprise you. Yakuza Kiwami, otherwise known as the first game in the series, Yakuza 1. Yakuza 1 released on the PlayStation 2 in 2006 in the West and was later completely remade for the PlayStation 4 10 years later in 2016. To start with Kiwami is a perfectly fine option, but after the release of Yakuza 0, it's hard to justify starting with the first game since 0 is a prequel to Kiwami. Kiwami also added small touches to Yakuza 1 that you will be able to appreciate in a greater way if you played 0 beforehand. Yakuza Kiwami is pure Yakuza, an epic story, the introduction of a ton of characters that are now staples in the series, a good old and simple beat-em-up combat system, great music, and you know what? I'll say it again, a freaking epic story. If you own a copy of Yakuza Kiwami and can get your hands on the 2 other games in the series that we're about to suggest, Kiwami is a perfectly fine place to start. There's some people out there who like to play the games in order of release, and that's not an issue with Yakuza. That being said, I do want to specify that in 2021, there's no reason to go back into Yakuza 1 on PS2. Sure, it makes for some funny moments. But other than that, Kiwami is just better in every single aspect.
At number 2, we have Yakuza Like a Dragon. Being the 8th entry into the mainline Yakuza series, because Yakuza 0 counts as well, this is the latest installment of the Yakuza franchise from RGG Studios. Now you may wonder, why would I start off with Yakuza 7 or Like a Dragon when there are Yakuza 0 through Yakuza 6 to get through as well? Well, let me just explain for just a second. Yakuza Like a Dragon is an extremely accessible game to get into. Even though it is the 8th installment in the mainline Yakuza series, there's a lot to love for newcomers. For one, Yakuza Like a Dragon changes its gameplay formula up so much. Instead of a button-mashing combat system, Yakuza Like a Dragon introduces a new turn-based JRPG system. For fans that are not into button-mashing games, this is a great place to start for the Yakuza franchise if you're ever interested. The gameplay is great, and for RGG's first foray into a turn-based JRPG, it's almost flawless. Another reason that Like a Dragon is so high on this list is because of the story it provides as well. While Yakuza 0 through 6 follows the story of Kazuma Kiryu, in Yakuza 7, its storyline is completely separate from the rest of the Yakuza series. It follows a new protagonist, Ichiban, whose goofy and lovable personality endears the audience to him immediately. While there are certain references that you will miss in Like a Dragon since you hadn't played any of the other mainline Yakuza games, it's still a great place to start for newcomers. Another reason why Like a Dragon is so good to get into for newcomers as well is because it's the latest installment, and Yakuza Kiwami was made during the PS3 era games, and it actually came out on the PS3 as well. It was ported onto the PS4. It kind of dates the gameplay a little bit, and Like a Dragon runs on a completely new engine called the Dragon Engine. While it's very tasking, even for the PlayStation 4, it still runs pretty well and offers a new modern experience for Yakuza fans. While Yakuza Like a Dragon is a great place to start in the series, I do however recommend, after completing Like a Dragon, going all the way back to Yakuza 0 and continuing the story from there. Obviously, like I said before, you won't get many of the references in Like a Dragon that were presented from 0 through 6, but it's a great way to start the series, and I highly recommend it. Now, the only reason why we did not put Like a Dragon at the top of this list is because of one particular game in general. David, let's go ahead and kick it to the best game for newcomers in this series. Our number 1 pick for where to start with the Yakuza series is 1000% Yakuza 0. Why, you ask? Why start with 0 when I have 1 and 2? right after it? Well, first off, Yakuza 0 is chronologically the first game in its series. You don't need any prior knowledge coming from it. It's a very self-contained story. And honestly, Kiryu's and Majima's stories are so much more impactful to me if you don't know what's going on from the other 7 games in the series as well. David, what's another reason why Yakuza 0 is our number 1 pick?
My friend, there's a lot of reasons why Yakuza 0 is a game that you should play and the game that you should play first in the series. It kind of is strange to say that, but if you play Yakuza 1 before 0, you're not going to enjoy it as much as if you played 0 first.
To me, what makes 0 so special is that there are relationships in 0 that are way more fleshed out if you play that first. There are certain people that you meet in the first and second game that appear in 0, and without any prior knowledge, you don't have that connection with them already. This game doesn't spoil anything for you since it's chronologically first. So if you play 0, in my mind, it makes more sense that you will enjoy these other games as we did. I played Yakuza 0 as my first game, and it had way of more impact on me than if I would have started with Kiwami first.
It really is. It is the same thing for me. I started with 0, and I played all the other games from 1 to Like a Dragon to Judgment. When you go back to 0 and you play it, I still enjoy it. But man, am I glad I played it first. There's certain elements in Kiwami that you understand in a way deeper and more complex way if you played 0 first.
Another thing about Yakuza 0 that is impactful for me is that it is Yakuza gameplay at its finest. There is so much side content in this game. RGG Studios went above and beyond with the side content in this game. You can do anything from go sing karaoke to dance at the club, run your own cabaret club, look at softcore porn videos if you really need to. There is so much side content and so many side stories.
I do remember one minigame which is my favorite in the series, and you did mention it before. The Cabaret Club management minigame with Majima is fantastic. I spent way too much time on it. As you mentioned, Yakuza 0 is Yakuza gameplay as its finest. It's a very good balance between story and side content. Plus, every side content is peak Yakuza. Side stories are peak Yakuza, peak minigames, etc.
Another big change from Yakuza 0 is the change in personality that comes from one of the main characters in the game. And I know you really wanted to talk about this, David, so I'm going to let you handle this one.
If you're not too familiar with Yakuza but are watching this video, I'm sure you've ever stumbled upon clips or screenshots of the main character, Kiryu Kazuma. But most of the time you'll also see another character, Goro Majima. In the whole series, every game after 0, you'll see Majima in a certain way, a very unique way. He's very over the top and has a very extravagant personality. He's gonna make you laugh, he's gonna make you question humanity. In Yakuza 0, you get to see where it all started. You get to see what made Majima the way he is in the other games. Once again, if you played the whole series as the game released, let's say you started with Yakuza 1 in 2006 and you kept rolling and you played all the games day 1, I'm sure the people that were playing the games were like, this Majima character is pretty strange, what's wrong with him? So when Yakuza 0 released, 9 years later, we finally got our answers and got to see what made Majima the way he is. I fell in love with this character, it's freaking awesome. While playing Yakuza 0, you'll probably fall in love with both characters, both Kiryu and Majima.
Majima really is the Joker of the Yakuza universe. You really get to see his descent into madness. He starts in the more somber tone in Yakuza 0, and you get to see that descent. And it's really interesting to see. And David, I think we had one more reason why you should start with Yakuza 0.
Yes, we do. And it is a simple one, but a very important one. The story in Yakuza 0 basically sets the stage for what's to come in the whole series.
100%. I mean, Yakuza 0 is a great game to start off with because you are thrust into this Yakuza lifestyle. This is one of the only games where Kiryu is actually in the Yakuza for a small amount of time. You get to see that lifestyle. You get to see pinkies cut off. This story is all over a little bit of land, which just doesn't seem too mind-blowing at first. Not saying that we have experience, but this is what the Yakuza life is like. Yakuza 0 thrusts you into the story at full speed. You get the intense moments along with the wacky moments, and there are plenty wacky moments and funny moments to be had in Yakuza 0. But the story is peak Yakuza. It's the best story in Yakuza, in my opinion. Would you agree with that?
100%. I am a gamer, and I've been a gamer for years. I've played a lot of games from various different genres, and I'm not ashamed at all to report that Yakuza 0 is my favorite video game of all time. It is amazing from A to Z, and I love it so much. Please, if you want to get into the Yakuza series, please give Yakuza 0 a chance and you are set. You'll fall in love with the series right away.
1000%. If it wasn't for Yakuza 0, I wouldn't be into the kind of games I'm into today. Yakuza 0 has made me the gamer that I am today. It's okay if you want to start with Kiwami. It's okay if you want a turn-based RPG with Like a Dragon. But trust us when we say Yakuza 0, best way to start the Yakuza series.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for watching this Where to Start with Yakuza video. We at Kamurocho Bros are very passionate with anything Yakuza. If you liked the video, make sure to drop a thumbs up. It helps a lot, and most importantly, let us know if you are a returning fan or a longtime fan of the Yakuza series, what game got you in the series, which game did you start with, and how was your experience, and most importantly, which game would you recommend starting with. If you got into the series after watching this video, let us know how your experience was. We're very curious to hear back from you. If you're interested in watching more videos or any type of content related to RGG Studio, Yakuza, and Judgment, you are at the right place. Make sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you guys later.
Bye.